Hey guys, there's going to be a series of very beginners, tutorials of how to use Adobe Photoshop, for the simplest fact that I have a couple friends that they ask me, what's Photoshop, or how do you even go through this. I've been using Photoshop right now, let's see, January 2009, exactly 4 years. So the first time that you open Photoshop, you will get overwhelmed. Like any other, new thing that you'll do in your life, riding a bike could be scary, but Photoshop, it could be fun once you get to know the ropes. So for this tutorial, I'm just going to show you, the look of it, what does what, or what is what. This way you'll know, and then from there we can, start working on projects or how to edit one thing or the other. So basically, it's just going to be a series of different tutorials on how to, work with Photoshop. So right now, I have the 64-bit for my computer, so just double click on it. If it's on your desktop or in your files, just look for it, and if you don't know where it is, then what you do is you go to, click on Photoshop, and whatever you'll have in Photoshop will show up. So that's basically it. So I do have the Photoshop in Classroom book, just because I took Photoshop last semester in school. So I will guide you to, briefly on a few things, and then a few things from my experience. So I'm just going to read you real quick. The default workspace in Photoshop consists of the menu bar, which, seriously, go away. There we go. Which is this up here, which, you could navigate without clicking. It just automatically goes, lets you know. And so that's the menu bar. And then right here is the options bar. So every time you click on like one of the tools, it will give you an option to kind of like enhance or change each tool. So that's what it's called, the options bar. And then from the tools panel, which is all this, you can in most things in Photoshop there's like little double arrows. That's either to like expand it or how can I say, elongate it in a way, or hide it. So like for this, you can have it like that, or you could just have it, the long way. If you don't like it there, you can just remove it, and you can do so many things with the workspace, which is, the whole thing. So pretty much you can customize it as much as you want, but for now this is what I have. Hopefully it's pretty close to what you have. Sometimes things might look a little bit different when you first open it. But anyway, the next thing would be the options, tools. The mini bridge is basically kind of like, how could I explain it the best way? It's in a way of looking up images in your computer. This way, instead of just going through your computer and dragging images, this will automatically, look for the images itself in your computer. So for right now, I'm just going to, wish I could just minimize it, but let's just do this. Let's just close it for now. Close tab, okay. So that was the mini bridge, and then the timeline is mostly used for, like GIFs or making videos, which is this right here. But for right now, you don't have to worry about it, so I'm just gonna, close it. And then, let's see what else. So when you have like documents open, one or more image windows also appear, and you can display them at the same time using the tab interface. So Photoshop user interface is very similar to one in Adobe Illustrator, Adobe InDesign, and Adobe Flash. So learning how to use tools and panels in one application means that you'll know how to use them in others, which is very true for the fact that I have like Adobe Illustrator, After Effects for school. So once I kind of learned how to use Photoshop throughout the years, it's pretty similar to use Illustrator, most of the tools look the same as well, but they all work in a different way. So, but still, it's not so alienated from one software to the other in the family. So, let's move on. So, when you first get Photoshop, a lot of people, they want to know, how do you drag like an image? You could do it either way. You can go to File, Open, and I already have images set up, but let me just, I don't know, hopefully I have something. Alright, let me just grab something I was editing the page earlier for for 7 Deadly Sins. So you can just do that, or you can just go to your computer and or you can just drag it and drop it. So it's very easy how to upload the images itself to the Photoshop, and this is how the tabs work. You can hold on to it and then let go and it gets off of that, or you can go back and just snap it into its workspace. So that's one way. And let me see how much time I have. Okay, 6 minutes. Okay, so once you have that, then we'll just explain. This is the color palette, and which way it works is you click on like the box and it'll give you this. And it's pretty cool because you can know all these colors. I use it a lot for knowing. It's easier to go into Photoshop to know what colors what for to editing on a website than trying to figure it out elsewhere. And so you can go to the brightest, to the darkest areas, to the grays, to the whites. So that's one thing. There's also the RGB, for each color. It will let you know. You could make your own swatches, which let's say if I like this color, you add it, and then it goes into your swatches right here. And your swatches goes from like all the regular colors, the gray tones, the light tones, the blues, the greens, the browns, and so forth. You can also, later on I'll explain how to add more things to your Photoshop, like swatches or styles or actions, which I actually have a series of how to add styles and actions, I believe. I know styles I have it, but I'm not sure about the actions, but I probably will teach you guys how to do that as well later on. But anything in Photoshop, you can pretty much enhance it, add things to it. And then there's the layers panel, which once you have an item like a picture or a video, it'll let you know in your layers panel, hey, you have this, and it goes automatically as a background. But once you have the background, you really don't have too much freedom with it. So what I do is you can double click it and it creates a new layer, or you can just right click it and duplicate layer, and now you see this doesn't have the lock as this one does. So most cases you can just save it for later and edit. Most cases when you edit in Photoshop, it's always safe to save the original and turn it off the visibility, which has an eye, which is very easy to remember. If you turn off everything, you get this like light gray white checkerboard. That means you're in the transparency, you don't have anything there. But once you turn that on, it's there. And so that's the swatches. And then you have, if you don't see your styles, let's say you don't want, if you can't find it, let's say it's like this, because most times when you open Photoshop, for the first time it doesn't have the styles thing, and you just click styles. So the window pretty much does the ability to open anything that you need in Photoshop. So there's like endless things that, you know, eventually I will go in more detail what they do, but you know, you can always play around what does the 3D function do, or the brushes, the channels, the characters, and so forth. And then the channels for each image, there's the RGB, then there's the red, the green, the blue that creates the image itself. So if you turn that off, like let's say if you turn off the red, you only get the red and the green and the blue. If you turn off the green, it becomes that blue, same as others you mess with. So the paths, if you do work on paths, which for right now you have to worry about that. And then there's actions, which when you open first Photoshop, you'll have the default ones. I don't use the default ones anymore, so I'll probably make a video just to show you guys what, you know, that would do as far as editing and so forth. So pretty much for now, let's see how much more time. Yeah, just for now, that's pretty much the look of the introduction into Photoshop, you know, what it looks like at first, and you know, eventually I'll do other things to teach you further. But for now, that is that.